Net worth. So one of the misconceptions about net worth that it is only for the rich people who have a lot of assets and who wants to keep track of their finances, but that is not true. Net worth can be measured at any income level, and no matter where you are financially, net worth is a good measure of your financial success or your financial state. So you should definitely start with what is net worth. And in today's video, we are going to talk about what is net worth, what are its benefits, how you can track it, and how it really helps reduce your worry and anxiety about finances, how it can motivate you to track your finances better and actually take the actions towards the right goals in your financial life. So let's get started. But before that, if you can subscribe to my channel by hitting the subscribe button, that will really be good, so that YouTube will show you and people like you who are interested in personal finance all my videos that I have been creating around personal finance. And one of the main motivations of this channel is the Pareto principle. That means doing the only 20% of all the noise that is around personal finance will actually get you 80% of the best results. And net worth is no exception. Net worth is one of them, where by just tracking your net worth, which is a very simple concept as we will see in this video, is it gives you an enormous amount of information and enormous clarity about the current state of your finances. So enough of an introduction, let's get started. So what is the definition of net worth? Net worth is a very simple mathematical formula which says it is the difference between total assets that you own and the total liabilities that you have. That means what you own minus what you owe. And when you take this difference, that is really your own equity, that is what nobody has claimed for, and that's really what you own, which you can proudly claim that, okay, this many amount of dollars, or these are the hard assets, or these are, and kind of this is your net worth in terms of financial terms. Of course, it does not take into account other things, like other intangible things like your career prospects, your skill sets, your relationships, your life in general. So we are not looking at all of those things in this. Net worth is really a very numerical aspect of your personal finances. So again, just to repeat, the definition of net worth is your total assets minus your total liabilities. Now, what is the importance of having this net worth? And we will come to the examples of how to calculate this. But first of all, when you know your net worth and when you see a positive number there, it immediately says that tomorrow, if in the morning you get up and you call your bank and say, okay, I'm going to pay off all your liabilities, all the liabilities that I have today, all the loans that you have, maybe including your mortgage as well. Once you pay it off, that means if you have a positive net worth, you will be left with something, at least something for your own. But if you have a negative net worth, that means you can't even pay off all your liabilities by selling all your assets. So that's a very good way of looking at whether you should have a positive, whether you have a positive net worth or a negative net worth. And when you have a positive net worth, then it of course shows that your financial state is in the positive zone, and you can actually make efforts to grow it. That means you can grow that positive number rather than it shrinking towards zero or even going negative. So as you see, we have just broken a common misconception that it is not about the rich people only. It is not about that you start tracking your net worth only when you become a millionaire or you have hundreds of thousands of dollars. Even somebody who is just starting from scratch, an 18-year-old or just in your first job, you can start tracking your net worth, and you should. And initially you will not have any loans. You will probably be spending most of the income that you are making. But then it will immediately signify that how much are you saving. If you do a net worth exercise at the end of a year, it will show you that this year, how much have you saved up. And that's a very good way of starting your investing journey, starting your financial future. The second thing is that if you regularly calculate this net worth, then it also shows the progress. Here is a very good way of tracking your finances with a very simplistic terms. I know finances can be tracked with various different metrics, like every year, how much income are you making, how much returns are you making on your investments, whether you have passive income or not. There are so many different, how much taxes are you going to pay. So it can really become very complex. But if we just go up 30,000 feet, above ground and try to see that, okay, how are my finances doing really? Or have my finances become better since last year? Net worth is an excellent tool for that. You just calculate your net worth, keep track of what it was last year and what it is now. And if you keep doing this, you'll be surprised in 5 to 6 years how much improvement you will make. And there is a common saying that says that it's very difficult to reach the first $100,000 or whatever in your country, whatever is a substantial amount of savings. And once you reach that, then your net worth starts compounding very, very fast. And so it is again for that reason alone that you should put it in your goal to track your net worth, and wherever you are financially, you should set a next milestone for your net worth to be reaching that stage. Like some people who are, let's say, have net worth below 100,000, they can set 100,000 as the milestone. Somebody who has crossed that milestone may set the next 500,000 as the limit, or somebody who has even crossed that can set to become a millionaire. That's a very common milestone of being a millionaire means your net worth is millionaire. And if for some reason your net worth is negative today, then you have an obvious goal to at least take it to zero. That means pay off all your debts and start getting into that positive zone. So that way, having a goal around net worth is very, very important. The second thing is when you calculate your net worth. So before we go into more pros and actually there is no cons, but more advantages of net worth, let's see how do you calculate your net worth. So the way to calculate your net worth is take all the assets that you have. You have money in your checking account, you have money in your savings account. And remember, this is a snapshot. So you are not going to count any of the money that you are expecting to arrive. That means you are not going to add your next month's paycheck, or even though it is 100% certain, or you are not going to add any stock options that you have which have not yet vested and you don't have it in the form of this thing. So first is your liquid accounts. That means your checking account, your savings account, any certificate of deposit or fixed deposit, any kind of like cash accounts that you have. Then you add all the investment accounts that you have, your 401k, your IRAs, your HSA balance. You can have other brokerage accounts. So you may own other stocks and bonds inside it. And then you add all your investment real estate. So if you own real estate in a softer form like REITs, or you own, let's say, some kind of private real estate, or you own a rental property, you have to add the values of all of those. But for now, just leave your value of your home for the moment. And the other thing that is also kind of controversial is sometimes people say that we need to add all our assets, means I need to add my the value of my car, and you can do that if you wish to. But remember that car is a depreciating assets, and if you have other kind of asset, maybe you have jewelry, maybe you have gold coins or silver coins, or you have some other kind of very tangible asset that you can sell and convert it into a cash. That is really what should go into the asset column of the net worth. Now, why am I not including the home? Because it is very difficult to sell the home while you are staying in the home. Once you move out to another home or you are renting, then this home can either you can sell it, convert it into a cash, or you can start counting it towards your assets. Similarly, on the liability side, we have to count all the loans, all the outstanding debt that you have. Maybe even this month, if you have $2,000 credit card debt that you haven't yet paid off, that should go into your liabilities column. If you have a car loan, that will go into that. If you have a personal loan, so all the outstanding balance of those. And then on your investments, if some of them are leveraged, for example, if you have a rental property which is now worth, let's say, $200,000, but you have $160,000 of mortgage debt, that $160,000 should go on the liability column. And once you list all of these things together, then you will see that you have a total sum for all your liabilities and a total sum of all your assets. And then you take the difference between this, and it will also say that how much assets you have if you do not consider your liabilities. And sometimes your asset column can be very huge, depending on whether, let's say, for example, if you buy rental properties and it has appreciated over a long time, so that itself might be a good thing. Your debt would have depreciated, so your equity will be quite large in there. And so when you take this difference, you will arrive at a net worth number. On the other hand, if you are, let's say, living paycheck to paycheck and you have a lot of credit card debt, you have like big car loans that the value of the car is not going to kind of offset those loans, and then you do not have any other substantial investment. So what will happen your net worth to your net? Immediately your net worth will show you that you are in the red zone. That means you have a negative net worth, or a net worth which is hovering towards zero. And so that's when you know that you have to take some corrective actions. So really when you do this exercise, it is beyond that simple number. It also makes you take stock of your assets, you are taking stock of all your liabilities. And as you can see, immediately in an intangible way, it starts to make you aware of your finances at a much deeper level. That means you start looking at, okay, what kind of assets do I have? Did I even know that I had this? Or I have all these loans. So my God, I have so much of credit card debt. These are really expensive debt that I'm carrying. So immediately it will start putting a lot of questions in your mind. And if you have a good amount of assets, investments, it will also positively boost you a lot in that direction. So it starts giving you a clearer picture of your finances. Then the next thing is, depending on where your net worth is and where you are, where do you want to go with that net worth? As I said, if you are below $100,000, you may want to reach $100,000. If you have a negative net worth, you want to correct that first. So what it starts giving you is the next step in your finances. That means what financial goals do you set? And is increasing net worth the only financial goal? Or when you listed your liabilities and assets, maybe there's a kind of liability that is really bothersome to you and you want to pay that debt off. So put it as a goal in your financial life. Or if you have some assets that you really love, maybe you have really seen that technology stocks have done well and you feel that the amount of technology stocks or the technology exposure that you have is very less in your portfolio. Maybe you'll set a goal to boost that up, and that way your portfolio returns will go up. So when you look at these things, the other thing that also it gives a clear picture is how much liquidity do you have? Are all your assets tied into illiquid investments, or do you have enough cash to tide over emergencies? So all these visibility you will start getting, and this will implicitly start creating different financial goals for you. This is what I do with my clients also when we do this exercise. It's a full 1 hour session where we uncover a lot of things, and there are other names to it. I call it a SWOT analysis, where we do strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. But really start from this exercise of listing down all the assets, listing down all the liabilities, and then taking a stock of what's happening. Now, I talked about excluding your home, and that's kind of some financial experts actually include your home and the mortgage into both the columns, like your home value in the assets and your mortgage, and they say that home equity is part of your net worth. But I would say that initially in the first exercise, do not include your home, because you are living in it. It's just a possession. It's like the clothes that you have. And yes, there is an intrinsic value to that when you subtract your mortgage. So I would say don't put your home value in the assets column. Don't put your mortgage in the liabilities column. Just add up what else you own and what else you owe and calculate your net worth based on that. So this is one thing. The other is that some people are a lot worried about their finances. That means whether I'm going to reach these financial goals or not, or do I even have a handle on my finances? Do I even understand my finances? And sometimes this can become a very, you can say, a very anxious moment for a lot of people. As the economy tanks or there are bad news all over the media, it can actually stress you out. And when you have not really done this kind of an exercise and looked at what your finances are telling you. So when you do this, it can actually reduce a lot of worry and anxiety, because now you are doing a reality check. And when you do a reality check, you can see that suddenly that, yeah, it's not so bad. Things are not so bad. I own all these assets. I have these liquid savings. And yeah, if I just pay off these 1 or 2 debts, or if I just manage these debts well, then I'm already in a good position. So I need not be so kind of so stuck up or so anxious about what's happening in rest of the world, right? So so this is a very important exercise to do, and I have seen that every time I go back to this exercise, I normally do it like every 6 months, or sometimes definitely annually I do that. And when I do that, it for a moment it makes me feel happy that yes, I have resources. I'm not into that position where I need to worry a lot, even though I may be worrying about certain things, about reaching a particular financial goal, or spending too much. That last month I spent a lot, and really my budget was completely out of shape. But then that's a short term thing. So when you look at go back and do this net worth exercise, it will give you a feeling of control. It will tell you that okay, this is what is, things are not so bad. What happens if you spend a little bit more in a month or so. So that is one thing. The other is it also helps you planning not only for your goals but planning for emergencies. As I said, that when you are listing down your assets and liabilities, you can see that what happens if you, let's say, lose your job, or if there is a medical emergency in the family where you have to come up with a large amount of sum for the deductible, or something happens to your home and you have a large repair bill. Are you able to foot those things correctly? Are those going to become a stress because you already have a lot of debt and your net worth is really small? In that case, it will cause a lot of anxiety for you, because now to tide over that emergency, you may have to take on more debt, thus pushing your net worth further downwards or into the negative zone. So it also gives you a picture of that in case there is an emergency and you have to pull out some cash, or even if you have to pull out other assets like your other liquid investments, let's say investments in the stock market and things like that, then also things are not so bad. Yes, it will be an inconvenience. You will lose some earning power of that money, of that asset, but you will not be in a red zone. You will not be panicking because of that emergency. You will be able to handle it. So that's very important. The other thing is that the mindset shift. So this is very, very important. This is another intangible part, but I have seen that when you do your net worth exercise, a lot of people can get out of their scarcity mindset. And by our human nature, or for a lot of us, especially my immigrant clients I've seen who comes from a financially very conservative environment, they have this scarcity mindset in their minds. That means if I have to spend a lot of money, or even on myself, rather than let's say on some possessions or something that the family needs, there is a scarcity mindset. Even investing in one's own career, or in one's own well-being. And this scarcity mindset can be helped if you again do this net worth exercise, because now you can see that yes, there is room for investing in yourself. And in fact, if you do it correctly, and whatever you are investing in, if you make use of it, excuse me, then you can get a better return over a long time. And this is the way we grow. So it is really shifting your mindset from a scarcity mindset to a growth mindset. And like, for example, what I do is, when I look at my net worth, I always make sure that at least 1 to 5% of my net worth can be deployed into investing in myself, into different kinds of coaching, different kinds of courses, or even taking up some, let's say, degree classes or certificate classes for my field, learning about financial planning and things like that. So really, again, looking at your net worth, you can allocate a part of your net worth to this growth engine, which is you, because you are the person who is responsible for growing your net worth. So if you do not feed that engine, then of course you will not have that growth over time. The third thing is, the next thing is actually investing wisely. That means when you are looking at your investments, again, this, as you list down your assets and liabilities, you know how your assets are spread. In a way, you have a very rough idea of your asset allocation, that I have this much into liquid savings, this much into the market, and maybe the third component are hard assets like rental properties, or let's say even jewelry, or other things which are really not in the stock market or in the bank. And and that way it starts giving you a picture of how you should start investing. Maybe most of your money is stuck in, let's say, real estate or some kind of hard assets, and you don't have enough money working in the stock market, so you may need to channelize your future cash flows into that stock market kind of assets. Or it could be that most of your money is stuck in investments and you don't have enough liquid savings, so now you need to boost up your liquid savings because of the emergency kind of situations that we talked about. So it also helps in your investing journey. And the last but not the least is it prompts you to save consistently. This is very, very important. It does not matter where you invest, what kind of assets you have, if you do not have the habit of saving. But when you do the net worth exercise, you put that into your psyche and you put that as a goal to improve your net worth, automatically it will motivate you to take action every month. That means now every month you will get into a mindset of saving more money and you will not do those wasteful expenditures. Of course, you have to spend money to live a good life, but at the same time, you will have this net worth in your mind and you know that another net worth session is coming up. So if I don't save, I will not see any improvement in my net worth, and maybe my net worth would have shrunk by now. So it is very important to consistently save and keep growing that. So if you have not started on your net worth journey, I would say start today. It does not take start on an Excel sheet or whatever form. You can even do it with a pen and paper. Just draw 2 columns. On one side write assets, on one side write liabilities, and list down all your assets and their approximate value. Don't stress too much to try to find out what is their exact value, because things like stock markets can go up and down. You may not have an accurate value of the real estate that you have, but does not matter. Just take your gut feeling number or whatever you can get your hands on from the internet. Once you know that, just list down all of them. And then on the liability side also, you may not need to log into 10 different banks, but if you know that, okay, how much loan you had taken, and maybe by the time you're making the payments, it would have gone down a little bit. So just add those approximate numbers and get to the first value of your net worth. And if you have a positive net worth, then congratulations. If you do not have a positive net worth, then definitely you need to work on it. And I'm sure that this would have given you the motivation. And if you need help in working on your finances, if you need help in like setting a very clear step-by-step guide for how to improve your net worth and your finances, then I will add a link in the description below from where you can download a free ebook that will give you the 4 steps that I follow with my clients. So again, thank you very much for listening, and please subscribe to my channel. And if you like this video, please smash the thumbs up button as well. Thank you.